Hey Rangers fans, have you joined the Rangers Network? If not, now's the time. It's easy and free to subscribe. Get your phones out. Text the word Rangers to 42828 to stay in touch with all the latest Rangers news. Want that again? Text the word Rangers to 42828. Go Rangers!
Deep kick this time. Woodard, 3 yards deep, takes it out to the 10, right to the 20. He's got blockers, 30-yard line, far side, with a head of steam inside of midfield. He's gone. 100 yards. Trevon Merrick Woodard, touchdown, Smithson Valley.
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman. Alongside me, Smithson Valley head coach Terry Hill. The Rangers are on a 4-game winning streak after a 35-3 win over Canyon this past Friday at Ranger Stadium. Now the Rangers 5-2 on the season. Coach, an impressive win for you, all three phases. You had 2 return touchdowns on special teams, defensively holding Canyon to the 3 points, and did just enough on offense. What did you take away from the game this past week?
Well, I really liked our start. You know, we really, every week you want to come out fast, but that's not always possible. But we really felt like it was a priority this time, and we were able to do that. You know, we got up 21-0, and that, you know, that puts them on their heels a little bit. They've got to swim upstream, and then I thought we were very efficient offensively in the first half, created 2 turnovers defensively. You mentioned the 2 scores in the special teams, and then the kick return right after, you know, the opening kickoff of the second half. It really kind of put the game out of reach, and you know, we were able to get some more guys in the ball game there in the fourth quarter. So a good night, puts us one step closer where we're trying to go.
Looking back at the start of the game for you offensively, your defense creates field position for you. Your first 2 drives, 54 and 56 yards. You didn't have to go that far, and you looked really efficient offensively. After that, maybe not as solid as maybe you wanted, but overall, how did you feel like the offense played?
Well, you mentioned it early on. It just seemed like it was click, click, click. Not a lot of explosive plays, but just steady gains and resulting in touchdowns. And then we had a turnover that killed a drive, and then we had another turnover as we're going into the end zone that killed another drive, and then we lost our rhythm a little bit. And but a lot of that has to do with Canyon. They played very hard, very resilient, got a good defense, and so you want to give credit where credit's due.
You started your 4th different tailback of the season this past Friday, Nick Aiken, the sophomore. What did he show you in the game this past weekend?
Well, you know, he's a young guy. Like a lot of young guys, everything's a new experience, and he's getting better and better, seeing those holes. He's got great acceleration, great ability to cut and kind of run here and see the cut over there. You know, he's getting better every time that he goes out there, and he and Cody Vicknair giving us a 1-2 punch. Cody kind of tweaked his ankle there a little bit, so we limited him as the night went, but both those guys are playing well.
Your defense is on a roll right now, holding Canyon to the 3 points, and as you pointed out earlier, the only points Canyon scored came off of a turnover that the offense committed. You forced 2 more turnovers in the win, interceptions from Mason Pearson, Chandler Beam. Defensively, playing with a lot of confidence right now. How did they play this past Friday?
Well, very, very well. You know, I think they held Canyon to 3 explosive plays, which to us is a run over 12 yards or a pass over 18 yards. Limited them to 3 of those. So when you're doing that, that means you're either stopping them or at the very least making them drive the ball, and it's very difficult to put together a 10, 12, 14-play drive without a turnover, a penalty, or something stopping it. So they're playing very well. They're playing very well together, and you know, as we move forward, that's become a real strength.
We mentioned at the top, you're now on a 4-game winning streak, playing extremely confident right now. Momentum can be a difficult thing to carry, though, from one game to the next, since there's 7 days in between games. But do you see the momentum carrying over into the practices as you've been moving along this past month?
Well, our kids have practiced well on a pretty even keel all year. We haven't had what some people consider inevitable ups and downs. You know, they've done a nice job of taking care of Monday. These are the things on Tuesday, taking care of that checklist. Wednesday, they've been moving through that without being bored or becoming mundane or, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I think they've got their eye on the bigger prize of what we are trying to do long range, and they know that we've got to take care of those things during the week. Would they rather be somewhere else at whatever o'clock in the afternoon? I'm sure they would, but they know what they've got to do right now. I credit our seniors for that, for setting the pace, and our younger guys for falling in line.
Again, Smithson Valley, a 35-3 winner this past Friday over Canyon. A lot of big plays for the Rangers. Let's go back and take a look at them.
Let's take a look. Our first big play is our second touchdown of the night. It's an offensive touchdown on a short pass and catch and then a run after the catch. We're going to highlight two players. A Dorzell Hunter is the top circle there, the inside receiver in this 4 wide receiver set. The outside receiver is Josh Dillon, a senior wide receiver. The ball will be a quick throw. Josh Adkins is going to throw it quickly out to our outside receiver, and a Dorzell Hunter makes a great block on the cornerback, as you'll see as the play unfolds. There's the catch, the great block by Dorzell to the sideline, leaving 2 defenders to make the tackle for a 4 or 5 yard gain. What you'll see is Josh Dillon splitting the two, showing great quickness, getting through there before they can compress him, actually runs them into each other and turns what would be a short gain into a touchdown. I think you can see it better here from the end zone view. Dorzell is just on the screen to the right as the play unfolds. You see the ball come out quick. Once again, there's the block to the outside, taking the most dangerous threat off of our receiver, and then now putting it on him to make someone miss. Splits the two into the end zone. Well executed play by both of those young men, resulting in a touchdown. Our next big play is a special teams play. This is a punt return for a touchdown by Trayvon Merrick, but you'll see that Trayvon had quite a bit of help getting this done. We pressure the punt, make him punt quick, and then the ball gets into his hands, and we get the initial block by Chandler Beam, taking the first threat down on our returner, canceling him out. And then as Trayvon cuts up, you see 4 different blocks, creating an alley for him to run in. And then the final block by Jack Gibbons on the last man. Then the punter is left, and Trayvon has him. You can see the punter, he's got a bad angle. Of course, Trayvon can outrun a lot of angles, and he gets it into the corner of the end zone. Just an outstanding play by a lot of young men. We go to the end zone, I think you can see it even better. You're back here with the 2 punt returners, and you can see how it unfolds. Of course, the ball's coming right at you. Trayvon on the left here. There's the initial block by Chandler that we mentioned earlier, keeping him off of him. There's those 4 blocks that you saw from the other angle, creating an alley to get in. And there's the final block coming from Jack right there. And then, of course, the punter's at the end there, and Trayvon's able to get to the corner of the end zone and avoid that tackle. Well-executed play. Also a kicking game big play, kickoff return. After Canyon's halftime, we got the opening kickoff. You see 4 blocks pinning defenders to the inside part of the field. Then you see 2 blocks kicking 2 defenders to the outside part of the field, creating an alley for Trayvon to hit. Big hole. And we get some blocks there from Colt Fullen up around midfield. Another one from Josh Dillon, and then Cameron Livingston on the kicker, the final guy in this piece. And Trayvon, as good as he is, really is just running a straight line. I'm not sure he's having to do a whole lot on this particular play. From the end zone, you can see it again. You can see Canyon's kickoff team spreading out. You see our alignment initially. They're kicking the ball deep over to the left corner as you look at it where Trayvon is stationed. And let's look at those blocks again. First, you get the initial one creating that alley to run in. Then you get those kick out blocks. You can see the big hole that he has to run through right there. That's quite a gap. Now we get a block on the kicker. Another nudge right there by Josh Dillon, and Trayvon's just straight line running. And he's pretty fast, so when he's straight line running and people are in a catch-up mode, they'll have a hard time getting him. Our last big play is a defensive play, a team sack. We use 3 young men, Colt Fullen on the left, Brandon Arnold in the middle, and C.J. Keeler on the right. All 3 of them angle rush to their left where their quarterback is trying to get outside. You can see as the play unfolds, he can't get to where he wants to go because all 3 of them have cut off that pass. That forces him to turn back where he doesn't want to go, and Alex Flores, the backside defensive end, is the beneficiary of that, and he gets a sack on the quarterback. That's a 4-man game. One guy gets the sack, but as you see from the end zone, it's a team effort. There's Alex on the left with the circle around him. CJ, Brandon, and Colt left to right, combining for the sack. Watch it unfold. Of course, they motion, sprint to their right, can't get to where they want to go. When he turns back, Alex is the sack. And those are our plays of the week.
Coach, that last play, the sack there for Alex Flores, is something that I've noticed throughout this winning streak for you defensively. You are living at opponents' backfields, really winning that line of scrimmage battle, your defensive line against opposing teams' offensive lines. What does that speak to the way that this defense is preparing each and every week?
Well, as those guys play, the tone will be set for the linebackers and then the secondary. You know, if we can generate pressure with those guys without bringing blitz, then we can have more people in coverage, perhaps making the quarterback hold the ball a little longer. If they can hold up well on run defense, then it's easier fits for our linebackers and safeties to come downhill and make tackles. So it all starts up front, and that play was a good example of them working well together. And you know, not really a glamorous play, not really anything that would just jump off the screen at someone, but you know, we wanted to feature it because it kind of typifies how those guys play together. You
know, Coach, last week when we recapped the win over Clemens, I pointed out that you won that game without getting that big play from Trevon Merrick-Woodard. That wasn't the case this past Friday. 2 return touchdowns. He now has 7 of those in his career, 4 of them this season. Just a special player in the return game.
Yeah, he is, and he'd be the first to tell you, as those plays were pointed out, that he has a lot of help on that. He's got great skill, great just a knack for hitting a hole and then just showing some acceleration before the holes can close. But those are pretty good holes too. Those are great blocks by those guys, and I think his ability and their confidence in him, it just makes those guys that much more confident doing what they do. If I can make this block, if I can hold on just a hair longer, if my shoulder placement is just right, he may go. And so I think it's making everyone better.
All right, tell you what, we're coming up at a break here in Inside Rangers football. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to preview the game coming up this Friday against Judson. And coming up next, it's our weekly Senior Moments with Emily Wick. On Inside Rangers football, we're back in just a moment.
It was a dark and spooky night. It was 3rd and 10, and the Rangers had the ball, when all of a sudden, they had a false start penalty.
What in the world are you all scared about? Coach Hill's just gonna call a play action pass, drop the linebackers, hit the receiver on a shallow post, strike up the band. Rangers, the best!
Join Coach Hill and Brant Freeman each week on Inside Rangers Football. Log on to rangersnetwork.com to never miss an episode.
The Rangers defense had their backs to the goal line. It seemed like all hope was lost.
Coach will blitz them and knock them out of field goal range.
Now, Brandon, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's no big deal.
Bye, Dr. Bayless. That didn't hurt at all. Can I go pick from the treasure chest now?
Summerhill Dental is your Smithson Valley dentist. We're close by and we care.
Hey Rangers fans, have you joined the Rangers Network? If not, now's the time. It's easy and free to subscribe. Get your phones out. Text the word Rangers to 42828 to stay in touch with all the latest Rangers news. Want that again? Text the word Rangers to 42828. Go Rangers!
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to preview the Rangers' upcoming game Friday against Judson. But right now, we're going to turn things over to Emily Wick, who has this week's Senior Moments. Emily?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. All right, guys. You know what I'm going to ask you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Text your mom. So I'm here with Carlin, Christian, and Nate. Carlin?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you. Can you tell me what your grandmother's real name is?
Edith.
Edith. Very good. What was the scariest thing for you when you were little?
That would have to be the monster that lived under my bed.
What did he look like?
He looked like the Grinch.
Like the Grinch. So were you scared of the Grinch and then he became the monster under your bed?
Sure.
Did you actually ever see him?
No.
No? How many times do you think your mom had to come in and check for him?
Probably about 100.
Christian, Why is Donkey Kong's name Donkey Kong when he's actually a gorilla?
Well, I don't know, some things just are the way that they are, and he is Donkey Kong.
He just is Donkey Kong.
It's just how it is.
Do you play Donkey Kong?
A little bit.
A little bit. It's a pretty good game. Nate, if you woke up tomorrow being head coach of the Rangers, what would you do?
I'd probably do exactly what Coach Hill is doing because he is on the right path. And
How about you give us a vending machine?
Coach Hill's a good answer. And vending machine, I can see that would encourage some...
You don't have to give us sodas, like Gatorades and stuff.
Oh, just Gatorade. Carlin,
Yes, ma'am.
you have a big debut album. What is it that you would call it?
The Ranger Way,
Pretty
There you
good. Not bad.
featuring Larry Hill.
Featuring Larry Hill. There you go. Christian, who would win in a battle of Spider-Man and Batman?
Well, I'd have to go with Spider-Man because he's just all over the place, and Batman's pretty cool. But, I mean, you just can't beat somebody that can do what Spider-Man does. He's the best.
It's true. Batman's got some nifty gadgets, though.
True.
What's his best gadget?
Probably, I mean, I'd have to say maybe that little bike that comes out of the Batmobile in The Dark Knight. I love that thing. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I'd like one of those. Nate, what kind of animal is a snuffleupagus?
Snuffleupagus. No, I'm leaning towards kind of like a panda type thing on this one. And at the same time, I don't know.
Elephant.
An elephant.
Definitely an elephant.
Do you know where snuffleupagus comes from?
That's kind of a mystery to me. I have no clue.
Snuffleupagus was actually a fuzzy elephant on Sesame Street.
What's that?
There's only one. It's kind of a trick question. Why aren't koalas actually called bears?
I don't know.
Because they didn't meet the qualifications. It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Christian, I heard you have a pretty interesting talent.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you show me that?
Absolutely.
Oh my God! That's funny. Do it again. That's loud. When did you discover you had that talent?
Probably when I was about 8 or 9, I learned that I could do it really loud, and then I would just sort of do it on my own time every day, and I just perfected it until, and I just used it every day to get people's attention. I don't even say hey anymore, I just like that,
And I'm guessing that works out pretty well.
Absolutely, they know it's me. Yeah, it's my
Everyone
thing. Yeah.
always knows. Like I hear that one clicking noise, and I automatically always turn around and just know it's Weber because there's no one else I've ever met that does that.
That's awesome. All right, guys, so I want to see how well this teamwork is. Off the field, on the field, and everything in between. So we're going to do a little head and shoulders, knees and toes. And you need to sing it while you do it. Ready? Hit it.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Very good. I want y'all to do the wave from your chair. You ready? Start over here and hit it. Throw it back around. I have a yo-yoing challenge for you. Let's see your skills.
No, see, no,
I can't do it anymore. It's all over.
That's all.
It's all over.
That's all she wrote.
Let's stick to football, boys.
Absolutely.
Christian, you have a joke for me?
I do. It's a dirty joke.
Oh, well.
Just trust me.
Okay.
Pig rolling in the mud.
Hey guys, can y'all sing me a song?
You sure?
Absolutely.
All right, ready?
Yeah, ready. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Hotel California. Such a lonely place. Such a lonely place.
Is it lonely or lovely?
I think it's both. He says.
I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
That was great.
I can sing
Good.
Longest Time by Billy Joel for quite a while.
For Billy Joel?
Yeah. I can do that.
Okay,
Y'all
ready?
like that? Okay.
I wanna hear
I
it.
don't know. It's all
Okay.
him.
It'll just be me.
This
Yeah.
solo,
Okay.
solo.
All right. Okay, but can y'all like beatbox or something by?
Snap with
Snap.
Just snap. It's
Snap.
snapping in the song.
Just close your eyes and feel it.
I'll follow you.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I'll start it off. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest. If you said goodbye to me tonight, there would still be music left to write. Whoa, what else could I do? I'm so inspired by you. That hasn't happened for the longest time.
There you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good job. That was awesome, Christian. Good job. Thanks, guys. Coach Brant, back to you.
Go Rangers!
How about the pipes for Christian Weber, huh? A little rendition of Billy Joel there.
I guess so. Didn't know he had that kind of talent.
Well, the other talent that he had was trying to get his guys involved in the wave, Coach. What do you think about the wave at football games? You stand up and...
Yeah, a little bit distracting at times, but...
we could get a two-man wave going right now.
And I think Christian's a better singer than he is getting those guys at wave.
Well, I guess I'll have to try it with you again another time. But I guess for the time being, though, instead, we'll go to this week's Little Men.
Today on Little Men, we're going to talk about what is known in football as the power play. The concept of the play is just like you would expect with a name like that, power. We're going to try to use our power and push the defense one direction and block the rest of the defense another direction and run in the crease between the two. Coach Jared Hickel, who's been one of our offensive line coaches for a number of years now, is here with us today, and he's going to talk about just the basic concept of how that play unfolds and what it looks like. And we'll go to the little men and we'll let Coach Hickel take over.
So like Coach Hill said, it's going to be a block down, kick out, wrap. If you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive linemen to block, 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. We're going to leave the play side in and the play side linebacker for the fullback and our backside guard. So on the snap of the ball, you'll see everybody set up to where we're blocking back, blocking down, kick out, the play side defensive end with the fullback, and we're going to wrap our backside guard for the play side linebacker. Everything works out well. When we hand off the ball, we'll have a positive play.
So block down, kick out, pull the backside guard, power play, hopefully create a big crease for our halfback to hit downhill. You've seen it on the little men? Now let's go to some game tape and see what the power play looks like. All right, Coach Hickel, we're going to run this power play to the left. Let's take you through it as the Rangers come right at us.
So this is a 4 down front. If you can see at the snap of the ball, our 1, 2, 3, 4 down linemen who are blocking down or setting themselves up to block the 4 defensive linemen and linebacker to the right. With our fullback setting himself up for the kick out block, our backside guard is wrapping for the play side linebacker. If you can see, the crease is getting start and our back hits it well with a good play by the back, making a defensive corner miss. He picks up another 10 yards.
Now we go to a different game, running it
this is a playoff game.
Way. Yes.
This is a playoff game versus Harlingen. It looks like we're running the power play to the right. Same thing. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 down O linemen blocking down to the 1, 2, 3 D lineman and linebacker. Kick out with the fullback. Backside guards wrapping for the play side linebacker. Back hits the crease and makes a good gain there. Looks like we were on the in the red zone.
The power play. as old as the game itself, still a good play in 2016. Thanks, Coach Eckel, for showing us that. And now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, Smithson Valley's defense is currently giving up 13.4 points per game this season following Friday's 35-3 win over Canyon. The record for Ranger defense is 9.6 points per game allowed in the regular season. In which year? Is the answer A, 1998, B, 2001, or C, 2010? The answer is C, 2010. The 1998 team gave up 9.9 points per game, and the 2001 team surrendered only 10.2, but it was the 2010 team that holds the record, a team that recorded 5 shutouts on its way to a 10-2 season. Again, impressive stuff from that 2010 team that went 10-2 over the course of the season to include the playoffs, and only 9.6 points per game allowed. Coach, right now your football team is averaging about 13.4 allowed, and during this winning streak, it's well under 9 points per game. Yeah. Defensively, again, you're just playing with a lot of confidence.
I think we are, and it's hard to compare teams. Schedules are different, classifications are different, circumstances are different, but I played some great defense back then, and right now we're beginning to improve as well.
Well, the defense will have its work cut out for them this coming Friday against Judson. We're going to take a break at Inside Rangers Football and come back to preview that game against the Rockets. We're back in just a moment.
This November, vote for a man who knows how to be an American in America for Americans. Vote for Coach Hill for President of the United States. He's not afraid of anything.
And then the ninjas come out of the forest.
Ninjas?
Who wouldn't vote for a president who had ninjas in their video?
But I don't want to be the president.
But you're from Texas, Coach, and that makes you a shoo-in. I'll make sure to put that in the video.
But it doesn't matter, because I don't want...
I know! We should get John Wayne to be in your video.
John Wayne?
I can hear it now. The new president of the United States of America is...
Whoa. I just have to say that if I was president, I couldn't coach football anymore.
Well then, I'm officially resigning as your campaign manager and vice president.
Okay then.
Coach, how tall do you think you have to be to run for president?
This political ad was paid for by Wick Productions. Watching a video is just better than reading stuff.
Good morning, Coach!
Carpooling with Coach. You're up early to coach those Rangers, and we're up early to make great smiles. What a great idea.
I agree. You guys do the driving. Gives me a little time to watch some game film.
You mind if we play a little bit of music this morning? Hey, Coach, that was so much fun. What time should we be here to pick you up?
About the time the Rangers wore red.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Coming up this Friday, the Rangers play their final home game of the regular season as they host the 7-1 Judson Rockets. They're coming in, the one loss coming earlier in district play. An impressive football team, Coach, a rematch for you from last year's region final, and you've been in the district with Judson now for quite a while. A lot of battles over the years with this program. Not a lot of secrets there between yourselves and the Rockets.
No, there really isn't, and I don't think they try to be secretive. They're really good at what they do defensively and offensively, very confident in it, which they should be. And I don't think you're going to see two confused teams out there. We're going to know what to expect, and what we expect is a really good football team.
You played a handful of dual-threat quarterbacks this season a couple of weeks ago, arguably the best one on your schedule, Frank Harris from Clemens, but Julian Williams not that far behind. Judson's quarterback started his career as a freshman with Judson and has now had a lot of experience underneath his belt and is still very capable quarterback, both with his legs and his arm. You contained Frank Harris a couple of weeks ago. What will it take to contain Williams this Friday?
Well, it'll take a different kind of effort. We have played a number of dual threat quarterbacks, and this one's really good. But they do it a different way. It's not the same style of attack as Steele or style of attack as Clemens a few weeks ago. And they bring some really fine running backs and a couple of really good receivers with them. So much like those other games, you really can't just focus on one thing because they bring a lot of threats to the table, but we'll have to know where he's at, and we'll have to tackle him when we get the opportunity.
How important will it be for your defense to make Judson work for its points? Because we know, you mentioned the explosive plays earlier.
Right.
The Rockets thrive on those.
No doubt. They've been able to score from a long way out with a lot of different guys. The quarterback, the running backs, the receivers, had some big kick returns. But somehow we've got to make them do that. You can't let them get 3-4 long touchdown runs or passes. That's 28 points, and as good as they play defense, that's hard to overcome.
Yeah, you mentioned the play of the defense, and head coach Sean McAuliffe has really put together a really strong defensive unit there at Judson. He has a lot of great athletes to work with. What does your offense need to do to have success against Judson's defense?
I think we're going to have to be varied in our approach. I don't think you can just line up and throw it every play or line up and run it right at them every play. I think we're going to have a nice mix, a nice balance, keep them off balance a little bit. Mix our looks and hopefully be good enough at all of those to where they don't necessarily know what's coming next, and we're able to make enough plays to win.
This stage of the season, really no matter who you're playing, if it's Judson or anybody else in district, does every game right now have a playoff feel to it, especially with so much on the line at this stage of the season?
I think so, particularly in our league, 27-6A, where there are so many good teams. And it just seems like every week you're playing in that kind of atmosphere, and this week no exception. This was a December football game for us a year ago. It will have the feel for it again. We're playing a team that's very capable of doing that again. And but at the same time, that's exciting for our players and our fans, and it forces us to elevate our level of play. We don't always like what we see out there, but when you're playing that caliber of competition, you have to rise to the occasion or you get swallowed up.
We don't know what the schedule will hold, if and when the playoffs come, but in terms of playing at Ranger Stadium, this could very well be the final game you play in 2016. As you look at the support you've gotten for your football program and the fans coming out, how appreciative are you of the atmosphere that's provided for you at Ranger Stadium?
Yeah, it's outstanding. Our fan base, of course, are season ticket holders, and those are people that have been with us constantly. And the student section, the faces change a little bit every year, but they've become bigger, better, just a real big issue on game night. Our band, our cheer, our dance. It's a great place to play football. Our players are very comfortable with it, and we feel like it's an advantage.
Again, the Rangers and Rockets take the field at 7:30 this Friday, but there are 3 other 27-6A games happening. And for more on those district games, let's kick it over to Dr. Ferris and Dr. Hembry with this week's district picks.
Hey guys, I'm Tyler Ferris.
And I'm Megan Hembry.
And we're Ferris Orthodontics, and these are your Week 10 picks of the week.
Line them up.
My Week 10 pick of the week, Steel Knights, Wagner Thunderbirds. This is simply a warm-up for the playoffs for Steel, all Knights.
My Week 10 pick of the week is between the Clemens Buffaloes and the New Braunfels Unicorns. There may be a lot of stomping around, but I really think in the end, the Buffaloes end up on top.
Okay, your Week 10 game of the week. Smithson Valley Rangers go to take on the Judson Rockets. This is a rematch of an epic battle, playoff battle last year. This will be a different turnout.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It was a good one.
The roles are reversed. Go Rangers.
You got it, Smithson Valley.
What you gonna do?
Back to y'all.
Well, there you have it again, the district picks this week from Dr. Ferris and Dr. Hembry, and once again, they're picking the Rangers.
Well, I hope they're right. We're going to do everything we can to make them right, and I just so happens I agree with their picks.
Well, so far they are 5 for 7 at picking the Rangers this season. Hopefully after Friday, they're 6 for 8.
I'm for that.
All right, Coach. Well, again, it is Smithson Valley against Judson this Friday at 7:30. You can catch live coverage of the game online at rangersnetwork.com with a live radio call starting at 7:15. And don't forget, the televised replay will first air this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. at Max's Roadhouse. And for updates on everything Smithson Valley, be sure to text the word Rangers if you haven't done it yet to the number 42828. And with that, we're going to wrap up this week's show. Thanks to Coach Hill. I'm Brant Freeman. Rangers, Rockets, Friday at 7:30. Be there at Ranger Stadium. We'll see you next week.